Hello everybody, this is Simon with Let's Play Sonic 2006. I ripped into this level last time and I said that I'm not sorry, but let's kind of try and play it straight a little bit here, huh? So, for the S rank, in general, the usual rules apply. You have to kill a lot of enemies, so you get your points. You're not allowed to die, so you don't lose your points. You have to get a modicum of rings at the end. Some levels it doesn't matter, this one here a little bit. And you have to do all of that pretty efficiently, so you get the time bonus. In this level here, the point thing is made a little bit harder by the fact that the black holes kill a lot of the enemies for you, which you don't want because then you don't get any points. So you have to be quick in reaching them, and also because the level is so hard, as in the more black holes there are, the more easy it is to just die out of nowhere. That means that you really want to pick your fights. For example, this guy here, do not try to kill him. While you're throwing, the black holes will suck you backwards and you will die. So it's not worth it, even for the easy quote-unquote 1000 points. Where it helps a lot, of course, that Tails can just instantly kill any big enemy in this level for whatever reason. It doesn't really work like that, or maybe he just doesn't fight Iblis monsters that much, but you see here, again, this is very, very consistent. It's just an instant kill because the rings get stuck in their hitbox. It's great, I love it anyway. Tails, generally, just skip it real quick. I haven't commented on it yet, but this is the safest way to do this. Always land on this platform immediately after you spawn in. Otherwise, this is actually quite hard, because Omega hovers really slowly if you do not get up to speed, and you don't know when the platforms are going to change, because they are not on tracks, you know, so yeah. I had to be really quick to kill this big guy here. And something unusual happens here, don't know what exactly governs it, but the big guy here doesn't die. It's great, it's 1003 points. Most of the time he just dies. By the way, everything else just dies. This one guy spawns in and he is actually the last enemy governing the door. Something I didn't comment on before because I didn't have time with all the other nonsense going on. Oh, it tried to kill me again, but now I was ready. Great. Ah, whoa, you. Thanks for the boost speedrun strat right here. Amazing, isn't it? Anyway, as I was saying, oof, I hate this section. It's so inconsistent. Like, look at all of this crap that just happened. I'm about to die here for various reasons, but I made it. It's amazing, isn't it? Because I'm just so good at this game. Come on, please home in on this thing. Thank you very much. Christ almighty. I was just saying that there is a lot of consistency you can have here, and then you do this to me. Anyway, what I was saying is that it's quite funny that you have a kill room where you don't actually have to kill anything, because the way the level is designed, it kills everything for you, except for one guy. Anyway, do not bother with Knuckles. Like, it's Knuckles. Like, come on. Like, it can get a few points here at the very start, but honestly, just you see what happens. There is black hole suddenly, and then everything dies for you because and fighting is so awkward with him. It's so awkward, and this already, it's so dangerous. In my opinion, if you can afford it point-wise, and as you can see at the end, I don't know what happened here. Another speedrun tactic, amazing, unlocked. If you can manage it point-wise, and you can, as I said, I have a buffer of 10,000 points at the end, just go. It's not worth playing as Knuckles. Like, I don't know what this boy is doing. It's completely arcane to me, his mechanics, because you play as him so rarely, and you are so well served to just get through his awful segments so quickly that I don't quite know how he works. Like, I know a little bit, enough to not die here, but honestly, just don't. Knuckles is awful. Anyway, Silver's segment is mostly about survival. This is where you will die the most often, except for Omega, because Omega tends to kill you a lot, but it hurts more with Silver because, you know, it's quite far in. You tend to die at the end, and Silver's segment is slow, so yeah. We are seeing a little bit more of the level design here now, because I want to kill these enemies for their points. Up here is pretty safe. And it's actually something that I didn't know until right now. These platforms actually rise. That means you don't have to do the hover trick if you kill all the enemies, because otherwise you don't have a shield, you know? You are going to drown in that sand down there. And the springs are completely useless unless you happen to hover directly onto them. Which is another feature of this level, just being stitched together with no alterations whatsoever from their original versions. Anyway, this black hole can actually steal the stunned enemy from out of your hands, costing the points again. It's brilliant. Here, this is one of the most problematic spots. Like, if the black hole manages to catch one of the spike balls, if the enemies push the spike ball into the radius of the black hole, then the spike ball intersects your path, you get hit, you die. We've seen this quite a few times in the failure reel of the original run, so yeah, try to avoid that. And also the thing is, like, this segment is very long between the next statue and the run before, so you will pretty much always run into a multitude of fully powered black holes here. There is basically nothing you can do about that, so you really need to know how to deal with them and how to walk with Silver's abysmal movement speed around them, and maybe try and do teleport dashes to get out of their radius, but even that is by no means guaranteed. So my advice, as for the others, is just pick your fights really carefully, and otherwise just try to get through this as quickly as humanly possible. This is the usual trick we can do here every time in every iteration of this level. Fortunately, you do not actually have to do the platforming. This again was very close. I died here very often when I first played this level. Like, just getting out of Silver's segment up here was the hardest thing for me, and you can see now why. It's really tough. And again, these two big enemies were actually guarding some platforms to the left, which we don't quite see here. I think I show it in the normal run, but again, it's so much easier to just hover over it, so that just don't bother. Again, with Rouge, the first thing you should do is just make sure that you can land on these platforms. The rest plays itself. You can climb up here. It's relatively safe until a too heavy rock or box is getting thrown onto it. Do not try to climb over there, it will break underneath you and kill you. Just do what I do and you should be fine. I like to pick up these 300 points per enemy here, but again, a little bit unsafe because you can get pelted out of nowhere, and also once they do dive, don't linger. You have to go and have to make a decent clip here. Like this, for example, just throwing this bomb is completely inefficient. It's not a good idea, just don't do it. You want to reach the statue immediately and keep going. And by the way, another feature of this level is the very inconsistent spread of these statues. Like, why is there one directly next to the other with a character who can fly? It's the same in Knuckles. I mean, I like it in Knuckles because Knuckles is so inconceivably bad to play. Seeing if there's like a secret up there, but nah, whatever, just keep going. It's really comical sometimes. Like, Amy has almost none of the statues and Silver has far too little, as we saw, whereas Rouge is just like, oh, there's a statue, there's another statue, great. You don't need this spring, which is cool, because if you linger a little bit too long at the start, which you really shouldn't do with Amy, then there is a black hole that can pull you off the spring, which is great. Yeah, it's great. Anyway, let's keep going. Amy's section does give you an opportunity to get a few more points, because you can just trigger the searchlight, spawn a bunch of enemies and kill those. Is that a good idea? I mean, kind of. Like, these arena sections here are okay as far as the sucking black holes are concerned. However, Amy is so cumbersome to use and her hammer is so clunky that if you have a red black hole that's shooting stuff at you, and I realize how stupid that just sounded, like this one here, locked onto you, then just do not bother. Like, here the tower protects me and I get a nice 1000 point one hit because she's strong, I guess, really nice. But even the other guy, he was getting pelted by one of the red holes, so you can waste your time standing there trying to kill it as the black hole kills it for you and wastes your points again. This is something which I advise strongly against. I even said so in the original one. Don't linger and kill these things here, it's just not worth it time-wise. And if you do, immediately go back, reactivate the statue, otherwise there will be black holes spawning in the center of this corridor, and I am convinced that you can't get past them with Amy. It's just impossible, she is too slow. So you really need to be quick here. I don't know why there is a box. I needed to know if there is something in there. There wasn't. Anyway, let's keep going. Shadow section, as I already mentioned, probably the best because it's the best level they're copying, and you are playing a speed character in a level that was designed for a speed character. So what I'm doing here is actually trying out a few of these extra pathways because I'm comfortable with them, and I was with Sonic. It's probably still not a great idea. You could see that the black holes were basically appearing where I just was. So lingering here just a tiny bit will get you killed very quickly. So it's just not a great idea in general. Like here, for example, I'm seeing that black hole is coming, is like absolutely noping out of there, and I missed the other one that was showing up basically underneath me. Brilliant. So I took the exit route, which I'm also comfortable with, because this is a route you have to take for the silver medals, so great. And I also know that there is a lot of free 200 points in form of the 1-ups, so I can take those as well. It's not the best route for sure to take through here. You probably just want to be as quick as possible, but it's a route which I know is safe, so why not take it, right? This one here is always a little bit problematic, because you have to really delay this ring, and I didn't delay it enough, so that's why I failed here. But I also know that there is a black hole about to spawn up here, which is why I again immediately took the emergency exit and do this, which I know works during my exploration, and then we can take this one up here, get a lot of free rings, and now we're basically home free, because the rest of the level plays itself, and there are basically no more black holes sneakily in the way. And then I can take a shortcut here, this beautiful rainbow ring directly onto here, but wait a second, there is a hidden cache of bonus rings and a 1-up for whatever reason, because why would you need a 1-up now? But hey, it's another 200 points. And I think this is kind of a failsafe they put here, because this is a lot of rings. This is like 4,000 points just on there, 4,400 of course, plus the 200 of the extra life, and this is a very, very comfortable margin of error here. So this, I think, again, they're playtesting this and they're like, the S-rank is pretty damn tough, right? And it's like, yeah, I'm just gonna put a few points at the end so that people can get it, and yeah, I don't know. Anyway, this wasn't nearly as painful as it could have been. There's a few failures I'm going to show you right now. You can just, like, you know, bask in the glory of me losing sometimes like 5 to 10 minutes of attempts here, not with Mr. Ringboy here, of course, but with the others. But I will leave you with that, and thank you very much for your attention.
System error.